Hey, my name is Wayne and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about our Mercedes-Benz, the Mercedes-Benz S560 or W222 series. We're going to talk about Drive Select. Always wanted to talk about this subject, which is the different drive characteristic of your car. I've heard of people talking about other manufacturers. I don't want to give the manufacturer's name, but they say when you drive in this car, it's like driving on the cloud. Well, when you drive that particular manufacturer, there should be other drive settings to allow different characteristic. And I'm going to go over those characteristics with this car. There's different drive modes. I'm going to go ahead and change the view, show you the cabin, and show you some of the features of this car, and so you can understand the different driving modes. All right, so the first thing I'm going to start out with is the A, and that's for the Echo. You know, for those people who like it to keep it green when you come to a stop, a full stop or whatever, at a traffic light or wherever, the car shuts off, basically saving you gas. So I don't particularly care for that feature, but you know, some people do. And there goes the dynamic select button that we're going to switch, and we're going to use that to switch. You can actually use it while you're driving to switch different modes. I suggest you switch it when you starting your car, and you know, don't make a habit of switching while you're driving. But let's go ahead and go over some of the stuff of the dynamic select. And what we're going to do, we're going to hit the car setting, which is this button here. We're going to have our little menu that comes up, and we're going to use this to configure the individual dynamic select. But let's go over the four characteristics. The Mercedes-Benz dynamic select is so advanced, it's like driving 4 cars in one. This unique performance allows you to personalize the feel of the vehicle's engine and suspension to fit your needs. So what we're going to do, we're going to explore the 4 mode. And so the first one is comfort. And so we're going to come here and we can push this back that way. We're going to look at the screen and we're going to go up to comfort. And as you notice, the right screen shows, and those are the components that are affected by the comfort. Let's go back into it. You know, you have the suspension, you have the steering wheel, you have the electronic stability program, and you have the Echo, you know, which is for the economical. So the comfort as a default mode, you know, this is when you turn on your car. As a default mode on your dynamic select, comfort mode is perfect for everyday drive. It's setting optimized smoothness and refinement for a relaxing trip wherever you go. Comfort mode also automatically engages the Echo start and stop system wherever it is at a stoplight for maximum fuel efficiency. So that's the Echo. The next one we're going to go to, let's switch this. We're going to switch it down. We're going to look at the screen, and we'll go to Sport. These are the characteristics for Sport, which is the engine, suspension, the steering wheel, as well as the ESP. So the Sport mode offers its driver a quicker response to your throttle and steering maneuvers, allowing your Mercedes-Benz to basically act like a sports car. The engine revs higher when switching in between gears for a more exhilarating drive, while nimble handling gets you heart racing. So that's the Sport setting. And so the next one we're going to go to is the Echo. Go ahead, we're going to push this. We're going to switch it down to the Echo. And of course, the Echo changes as well whenever you make the selection. So the Echo, this mode is for those who like to keep it green as possible. Echo mode turns on Echo start stop system automatically, while optimizing other vehicle aspects like gear shifting, climate control, and other systems for a more efficient performance. And then the last drive mode we're going to select is the individual. We're going to go up, and the individual, you see that adjust, you push it down, and you can basically adjust each and every characteristic of your drive mode. So let's say for example, you click on, for the drive, we select Sport suspension. You like it to be comfort. We come back out by hitting that button. Go down to steering. You want the steering to be like a sports car. Hit that, and of course you go into electronic stability program, and you can basically select how you like it. So Comfort or sport? We'll leave it at comfort. And you notice here that the I shows up for individual because you basically configured it individually, and you know, to your drive performance or your drive preferences. So let's go over which one is best for each, and then so you have a better understanding. Now the function of the ESP is what you call a crosswind assist detect. Sudden gust of wind helps the driver keep the vehicle in the lane. So ESP crosswind assist in active vehicle depends on the speed, 50 miles an hour and 125 miles an hour when they're driving straight ahead or cornering slightly. The vehicle is stabilized by means of individual brake application on one side. So that's what the ESP does. So when do you use each mode, each driving mode? We'll go down to the select, and you select comfort. You basically select either comfort, you can select either echo, and you select those two if you're gonna drive in snow, such as the northeast or ice, or if the road is wet from rain. The sport, let's go back up to sport. Basically, in a good road condition, for example, a dry road and a clear stretch of road, that's what you do in sport. And the I is for individual. That's for you individually customizing your sport, your ride to how you want it. Now, I've heard, before I even bought a Mercedes, I've heard of things where you would drive and the car would either lower or adjust its height, and it's true. So for the sport, when you select sport settings, which is what it's on now, the suspension is firmer, which means the air pump puts more air into your suspension, making it a little bit firmer. When you're driving between 40 miles an hour and 87 miles an hour, the vehicle is lowered, I believe, by either 0.4 or 0.6 inches. When I'm returning to speed between 87 miles an hour and or 40 miles an hour, the vehicle is raised again by 0.6 inches. The road surface scan is deactivated. That's in sport. You have comfort. Comfort tuning is comfortable. The vehicle is set to normal level. The road surface scan is active, and the road surface scan is performed by this camera here and then the camera in front of the car, basically just scanning the road. The echo, the suspension is comfortable. The vehicle is set to normal level. Road surface scan is deactivated. All right, so to confuse you any more than what you already are, so like I said, the sports suspension, the speed varies between 75 miles an hour. It's lowered by 0.4. So the vehicle is not lowered any further if you're traveling at a higher speed. So when driving at speed above 75 miles an hour, the vehicle is lowered by, further by 0.4 inches. When driving at speed below 50 miles an hour, the vehicle is raised again. Comfort and echo. So the suspension is comfortable. The vehicle is set to normal level. When driving at speed above 75 miles an hour, the vehicle is raised again. When driving at speed above 100 miles an hour, the vehicle is lowered by 0.4 inches. When driving at speed between 75 miles and 100 miles an hour, the vehicle is raised again by 0.4 inches. I wish I had that luxury in New York where I can drive at those speed, but obviously I don't. So our speed here is between 50 and 55. Still an enjoyable ride, and you can still switch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the car on the road and I'm actually show you the driving select in action. All right, so we're driving down the road, and we're gonna go ahead and let me just zoom in there. I'm gonna go ahead and switch the dynamic, which is here, switch it up just to get the menu system. Right now it's on individual. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to sport, and while I'm switching this to sport, the menu comes up, and I'm actually doing this while I'm driving. So normally what I would normally do is, before I drive, I set my dynamic select, that particular driving that I like. I'll go ahead and I'm gonna switch it again. We switch it to echo. And you notice echo is always green. And of course, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my echo the start and stop because I don't particularly care for it. So, and that's basically how you change between the different drive modes. And that's basically there is to the dynamic select for your car. Basically, not complicated, very simple to understand. All right, so headed back home. I'm gonna basically come out of this system, and like I said, this is something that you would normally set before you take off. You can do it while you're driving, one hand on the wheel, one hand on the dynamic select lever. But like I said, don't make it a habit of it. Know what you want before you take off. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll come out of this, go into the radio, and this is on the individual. Now, what's going to happen if we turn off the car and come back in? Will it keep its settings? Well, let's find out. Go ahead and we'll start the car again. And no, it goes back to comfort, which is the default settings, which I said earlier. So, but basically, like I said, before you take off, I'll normally turn this off, and it's normally on comfort because I like my comfort. You can change it to whatever you want, and of course, the screen will change accordingly. So, hopefully, you learned a lot. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon.